check my voicemail. It's Jay Leno. Yeah, sorry I didn't miss you. You want to come down to the shop? We'd love to talk to you. Like his phone number. I'm like,
You're listening to Get Out and Drive podcast with John, Custom Car Nerd Meyer, and Sean, Mr. Sedan Man Sherrill. We'll be bringing you gearheads all the information you never wanted to know about cars and why they should be on the road and not in your garage. Are you ready to get out and drive?
but that was a good one. The coolest non-breakdown story I'll give you is pretty cool. So a couple of years after we did Bonneville, it caught the attention of, I have a mutual friend that knows Jay Leno.
Okay.
And said, he was up here for a visit and had sold him a couple of cars and has been to the garage a few times. And he says, there are two people on this planet that should probably be in the same room for at least an hour.
Nice.
And that's you and Leno.
Nice.
So he said, yeah, which was a huge compliment. And he says, you should write him a letter.
Uh-huh.
And so I did. I wrote him a nice letter and sent him pictures of the car and said, if you got any time, I'd love to come down and just see the garage. I've watched your show and your YouTube show for years.
Sure.
As an automotive enthusiast, I think it's the best of them. And like the next day, I get a phone call, and it's Leno.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I'm at work. Sitting at my desk, and the phone rings. Of course, I'm on a call, so I can't answer it. So it's an unlisted number, so I just let it go to voicemail, and I check my voicemail, and it's Jay Leno. Yeah, sorry I didn't miss you. If you want to come down to the shop, we'd love to talk to you. Let me his phone number. I'm like, So I called my wife in a panic. I'm like, Jay Leno just tried to call me. What do I do?
Yeah.
And she's like, call him back, you idiot. I'm like, okay. So I go on my lunch break and I talk to him. I probably talked to him. I'm like, what do I do? I don't know what to do. I let Jay Leno go to voicemail.
Yes.
Yeah. I let Jay Leno go to voicemail. What have I done? And so I called him back and we talked for like an hour. And he was a wonderful person to talk to. It was a real down to earth kind of guy, very nice,
great,
very casual. He says, we love you're more than welcome to come down and visit the garage anytime you're in LA. We'll give you the tour. And he says, I really like that Roadster. Mm-hmm. And if you ever have it down here, we would love to shoot it for an episode of the web series.
Nice.
And at this point, I have no filter. The filter is off.
Right.
Mm-hmm. And I'm like, yes, we will do that. We're going to do that.
Yes.
We're doing it. When should we do it?
Yes. Can I go now? Can I go now?
I'm loading on a trailer right now.
Yeah.
I'll be there.
It'll be on a trailer in 20 minutes.
You're right. Exactly. Just
so
word vomit.
It took about
yes.
So it took about a year, to get everything ironed out and everything. But we took it down there and they were very gracious. I got a chance to meet the whole crew and we, took the Roadster down there. I trailered it for that one.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because I told them, I said, if you'll let me see the garage, I'll drive the Roadster down to LA. And he says, you don't have to do that. We'd love to see it. And so I decided to trailer it, which is the best choice.
Right.
Because the roads, once you get across the border, the roads were terrible.
Right.
And we hit this huge chuck hole. This is a 2-part breakdown, not breakdown story.
Nice.
So we hit this. It's about 9:00 at night. We're flying into Sacramento to stay the night before we press on for LA. And we hit this huge chuck hole and I could feel it in the truck. And I look in my rearview mirror and the Roadster is airborne. The trailer is airborne.
Oh.
And it's over the headlights because the headlights sit below the tailgate line when the tailgate's closed, right? So all you can see is the windshield.
Right.
So I look in my rearview mirror and here's the headlights and the radiator coming up over the tailgate.
Oh.
And I thought, and because the trailer, my buddy's T trailer, his grandfather built it in the 50s. It's got no suspension. It's a hardtail.
Perfect.
And it was probably 6 feet off the ground. So I slowed down to like 40 miles an hour and drove the rest of the way to Sacramento at 40. And then we get there, and I'm going to unload it off the trailer to put it in her garage overnight because I don't want to come out in the morning and have the truck and trailer be gone.
Right.
And
Sure.
the car's gone.
Right.
And then I have to call Jamie like, hey, so I lost my car in Sacramento.
Right.
So,
Yeah. Where's it at? I don't know.
Can I still see your shop?
Can I still come by and see the shop though?
Can we come in? He probably would have said yes, but it would have totally just killed the whole mood. You know?
Kill the vibe.
So I go to pull it off the trailer and I go to fire it up and it won't start. Won't start. Nobody's home. Get the meter out, check. There's no spark at all. And I'm like, geez.
Broke the coil.
Yeah. So we had to push it off the thing and push it into the garage. We're checking the coil. We're checking the ballast resistor, the whole 9 yards. Nothing. So I called the local Napa the first thing in the morning. I didn't sleep hardly at all that night. And I called the local Napa and I asked them about the coil and the resistor, which nobody seems to have. And they're like, oh, yes, we have one of each. I'm like, put them aside. I will take them. I bought the last coil and the last resistor in the entire state of California, or in Northern California at least.
Right.
All right.
I would have to drive all the way to San Diego to get the other one. So put it all together. Roadster fires up just fine.
Wow.
So we take it down there. We get down there. I clean it all up. We go down there in the garage in the morning. It's like 8 a.m. He asks us to come down, and we bring the thing in the shop, and then we do the interview portion and walk around the car, and then we go out and we drive it in the day, in the afternoon after lunch, and I let him start it because normally it will go on the first pull for me when it's cold.
Right.
And so I'm banking that it's going to do the same thing for Leno. And of course, I know that car, that if somebody else is going to start it other than me, it won't start and I'll have to do it.
Right.
And I boxed myself into a corner by saying, oh, yeah, you can start it. It'll go on the first pull.
Right.
And so I'm sweating bullets. You can see it in the episode.
Yeah.
You know, I'm holding it together, but you could tell mentally that I'm sweating bullets that this thing's not going to start. I'm going to make myself look like an idiot. And he just reaches down and just pulls on it with 2 fingers and it just went right away.
Nice.
Yeah. And I was... And then we took it out and we did the drive. We went all the way up in the California hills and did the whole loop and got on the freeway. And we were in the middle lane on the freeway doing 65 and the whole 9 yards. And we got about halfway through the drive and they have a flatbed tow truck that goes along with the filming crew.
Right.
Because all of the cars will inevitably break down during a shoot.
Right.
And the reason they do that is because so far every single car has done so.
Right.
And about halfway through the shoot, they're like, well, do we really need the trailer, the tow truck? And I said to the producer, I'm like, you won't need it. It's not going to break down. And sure enough, I think it's still the only car that has never failed during the course of a shoot on that show.
That's
Really?
fantastic.
Yeah. That was a good feeling.
Yeah.
Definitely.
That it didn't die. I know that made me feel real good.
You can listen to us on Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, iHeartRadio, Pandora, or wherever you listen to your favorite podcast. We're also on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. Like, share, give us your comments. Tag us on Twitter at Get Out and Drive Pod.
What drives you